Hello. I hope everyone is well. This week has been very challenging for me. I haven't stayed on top of this schedule that I'm trying to get going. You know, so I was thinking one video a day or one video every other day, which that's my goal is one every other day. But man, this week has been I've been depressed all week. So it's really hard to motivate myself to do the simple things like set up the light and set up the camera and get everything going, which takes nothing at all, but it's still difficult when you are depressed. Taking a shower is difficult. Brushing your teeth is difficult. Everything seems just so like massive. And you know, when I was at my worst, I would say a couple of years ago, yeah, I didn't want to shower, I didn't want to brush my teeth, I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to basically, essentially rot in bed. You know, and that was it. That was going to be my existence. But that obviously never happened. I didn't stay there forever like I wanted to. But you know, even with taking medication and staying on top of praying and meditating, you know, and getting into like scripture reading from like the Bible, and I also read scriptures of the Hindu and Buddhist faith, and just any place where I can get wisdom. That's where I go to. But you know, even with all that, you know, there are times where that depression, like this black sludge, just seeps under the doorway. It just seeps in, and it just starts to get a hold of you, and it's rough. It's really rough. But I did notice a couple of things this week, or I noticed something today that was interesting. So usually when I was just so low and my anxiety level high and deep depression, I would run to the bar. I would run to pornography. I would run to something that would help me escape. And this week, I didn't run to the bar. Even though I've had, you know, some wine this week, I haven't gone to the bar and gotten shit-faced and stayed there all afternoon. And then you know, would drive home afterwards. So I didn't do that, which I think is pretty cool. Step in the right direction. And as for the pornography, I have not watched any pornographic movies in such a long time. But, you know, it was difficult this week because that urge when it wants, it can turn you into a pathetic soul if it wants you to just, what I'm trying to say is, let's say you decided I'm not gonna drink alcohol. And that's fine. You can go X amount of time without it, and then the that surge, that urge comes over you and wants to say, hey, you know what? Okay, you need some alcohol, but there isn't any in the house, so how about having some hand sanitizer? How about tasting that? How about getting used to that? How about drinking just or doing whatever for a drink? You know, it turns you into this. I picture myself as just this lowly, just pathetic soul, just sort of just like begging, you know, for a drink, a drop of something. It's very interesting. So when it comes to the pornography, I have my phone, obviously, always around me, and it would be my go-to, obviously, to watch porn. But I didn't do that this week. But what I did do is, since it was there, and I was like, you know what? I need to see something. I felt like I needed to see a naked woman, or just any, you know, just people naked, having sex with each other or whatever, you know. And I did cave. I caved earlier this week where, you know, my phone was right there, and I was like, God, I really need to see something. I felt like I needed it. I didn't need it, but that voice in my head told me that I needed it. So, and then I partook in watching, or not watching, but looking at a few, you know, pornographic images, and then afterwards I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Is this necessary? I have started to question myself when that urge comes on, and sometimes I fall, I'm weak, you know, and I just end up doing it. But usually, and I'm talking about 95% of the time, I question myself, and I ask, is this necessary? Is watching porn for 2 to 3 hours a day necessary? Is getting shit-faced at a bar for 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours a day necessary? Is it worth my time? What else could I be doing with that time and that energy? And that, just questioning myself with that would just cut it. And I would say, yeah, I don't want to waste my 3 hours of time and energy just looking at freaking porn or whatever. So yeah, I've gotten very, I would say, good at batting off those urges. But, you know, I think that urge comes along and it says, hey, you know what, David, just say fuck it and just do it. Just do it. Who cares? You're depressed. It might make you feel good. And as it turns out, it doesn't make me feel good. It makes me feel even worse afterwards, because then I have that, I guess, shame, worry, not worry, just that shame, and then just feeling just guilty about it. So, yeah. It's been an interesting week. So I've been depressed for a few reasons that I'll get into. And I didn't, while I stayed out of the bars, I did cave once, you know, and saw some some images that I shouldn't have been seeing because, and I got this really just, I don't say epiphany, but this realization just hit me when Russell Brand. I heard him speak in an interview on YouTube, and the topic of Instagram came up, and Instagram models or whatever. Just basically he said, what he tries to do is stay away from things that will feed the appetite. Staying away from things that'll feed the monster. And when he said that, I was like, yeah, that makes total sense, because at that time, I would tell you my Instagram, even though when I first started my Instagram, I said, this is just going to be for work, this is just going to be for writing, and being in a community of writers, and blah, 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 all that shit. And then, those Instagram models, and those women that will just put up images, not images, but also videos of them just like twerking or walking around seductively in a bikini and all this kind of stuff. It drives it. When I see that stuff, it's just like, those wolf ears just kind of go up, and I'm just like, whoa, okay. I need to see more of this, like a drug. So after I heard Russell say that, I was like, yes, exactly. Russell Brand is one of the reasons, I would say top 3. He's within the top 3 of reasons that I'm changing my life, is because his journey is amazing. So if you are not familiar with Russell Brand or his transformation, subscribe to his channel and check him out. He's just a very wise individual. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here doing this. So, do not feed that beast. So what I did was I started curating my Instagram, and I cut out all of the Instagram models and every account that wasn't going to help me on my journey of. So, meaning these accounts that were borderline pornographic, that were basically a distraction. Distracting me from what I'm really supposed to do in life. All of my time and energy shouldn't be going towards distractions or these addictions that are there to distract you. Like wasting half your day at a bar, or wasting half your day watching porn. Those are distraction. Those are my main distractions, and it's very important for me to, stay away from those places that will not do any good for me. So, do I still drink? I do, but nowhere near what I used to. So what I do is I drink wine. I probably have, 1 or 2 bottles a week more than I should, but I'm working on that. I have not figured everything out. So I hope others can identify with this, with whatever struggles that we share. That's why I made this channel. So the reasons why I was depressed this week, and then I'll let you guys go. Last month, today is July 16th, I want to say, 2021. Last month, June, was my dad's birthday, is in June. And in a few more days, within this month of July, my niece, who passed on a couple of years ago, that spurred on the whole suicide thing. Her birthday is coming up, July 23rd, and then July 24th is my adoptive niece's 7th birthday, and that's making me depressed. It all goes back to the passage of time and seeing kids grow up and just wanting them to just stay 1 years old. Just stay 1. Because that is just, to me, perfect. I don't know. But 7, these girls they're women. They're just, they have attitudes and they want to do what they want, and they're 7 years old, But, yeah, my whole thing is fearing change and wanting people to stay the same. Whatever works for me, whatever works for my ego, I guess, that's where I want people to stay. So it's not fair to them, because people are like flowers. You let them blossom and you uncage them and just let them be free. So it would be very just horrible if you could freeze time, if you could freeze someone at a certain age that works for you. So that's the ongoing daily struggle along this journey of being okay with change. Change ultimately is good, but when you gravitate to depression as quickly as I do, change doesn't look good. Change is one of the reasons why I would stay depressed for so long. But yeah, so that's that. Those are the reasons, but also, I don't know, just not feeling, overall, just this general malaise and not feeling good. And yeah, so when people ask me, why are you depressed? Sometimes I say, I don't know, I just am. But this week, it is that coupled with these birthdays of people that have passed on, and plus the 7-year-old's birthday. So yeah, just things that I have to deal with. But